Good morning, family. This is Ricky, and welcome to Hope for Today. Back in 2 Timothy, let's just go ahead and jump to the verse. This comes from chapter 1, verse 3. Paul is writing to Timothy, and he says, I thank God whom I serve, as did my ancestors with a clear conscience, as I remember you constantly in my prayers night and day. I remember you constantly in my prayers night and day. I love this. Now, Paul, of course, is still showing to Timothy the affection and the love and concern that he has for him. And he expresses evidence as to that concern insofar that he communicates to him that I'm praying for you. And I love the adverbs there. He says constantly. And then he says night and day. And you need to know if Paul said it, he meant it, and this was happening. And I think it brings to bear upon us how important it is to pray for others and how important it is to pray constantly for others. And how important it is to pray night and day for others in our lives. You know, we're all guilty of it. We'll see someone and we'll hear something, and we'll almost say it as kind of like as a cliche, or kind of like as a way to greet them. We say, oh yeah, praying for you. And someone says, will you pray for me? Yeah, I'm praying for you. And how many of us are guilty about just forgetting? It's not that we don't mean to, it's just that we say it in a casual way. But you need to know that when you say you're gonna pray for somebody, you're supposed to pray for somebody. I'm so guilty of forgetting about this that I made a habit. As soon as someone tells me to pray for them, when they leave me, I stop right there and I pray. Stop right there and I just say pray. And yeah, it's probably only a 3 or 4 sentence prayer, but I pray because I felt so bad about saying I'm praying for people and not praying for people. And I just want to remind you, not only are we supposed to pray for them, the good news is that prayer works. Prayer changes things, and if it don't change the thing, it changes you. And Paul is just convinced that as long as he continues to pray for Timothy, he will bear good fruit in his life. My baby sister, Dia, her real name is Ricardia, which is Richard with an I and an A. It has nothing to do with anything. I just thought you need to know that. My dad's name was Richard Ricardia. Okay. Dia had a baby before marriage in college, my nephew Jace. And we welcomed that little boy in the world. But when Jace was born almost 20 years ago, that became a call to me to pray for Dia's future husband. And probably about 12 years, I prayed almost every day that my father would send Dia's husband who would be saved, who would love Dia, and who would love my nephew Jace as his own son. And I prayed that prayer for about 12 years, and surely my brother-in-law Marcus came along, and he loves Jesus, and he loves my Dia, and he loves my nephew Jace as his own son, because I remembered that prayer changes things. So Paul says to Timothy, I'm praying for you constantly, and I want you to know I'm praying for you constantly. But I want to challenge you to pray for others in your life constantly, night and day, because prayer changes things. That's all for today. I'll see you next time.